Alrighty, everybody, it is currently Thursday, August 14th, 2025, and I'm coming at you live from a Palestinian preschool. Oh God! Oh God, what is that? Oh my God! What? Alright. That's gonna sound awful. And I don't mean like sound morally awful, I just mean like auditorily. That's gonna be difficult to listen to, dude, but look, I don't care. This podcast has never been about making a fun experience to listen to. I mean, anyone that's listened to this for 10 seconds, they'll tell you that straight up. This isn't about it being fun to listen to. This is more so I almost think it's the only people who listen to this, and there really is only like two or three that listen to this, are they have to be like medical students or medical researchers of some kind, specifically like psychological researchers. They really want to get an insight into the mind of someone who is like mentally ill, but in like a borderline way, and not even mentally ill. I don't even want to put that moniker on myself. I'm not interesting enough to be mentally ill. Right? I'm too boring. I'm too boring to be a schizophrenic because, I mean, that's the thing about schizophrenics. They've always got something to say. They've always got like some interesting, crazy fucking story to tell. So I'm not even enough to be like bipolar or schizophrenic or like borderline personality disorder or even psychopathy. I'm really too boring for all of that. But just like, I don't really know how to describe it. Just someone whose brain doesn't work at all in the right way, right? Like even schizophrenics, like some of those motherfuckers are good at math. They made that movie, A Beautiful Mind, with Russell Crowe about that. But I'm not even that. This is just this podcast, this show. I like calling it a show for some reason because it's even calling it a podcast is like honoring it too much. I'm giving it too much credit. I'm giving myself too much credit. And calling it a show is like you know what I mean? Like fucking Succession on HBO. That's a show. This isn't a show. This is the ramblings of someone who's bordering on a mental breakdown. The most boring, uninteresting mental breakdown in the history of mental breakdowns, really. I'm kind of like the opposite Trump with the way I talk about myself a lot of the time. I'm the most boring guy ever. I'm the worst guy ever. You'll never meet someone who's worse to minorities than I am. Minorities hate me. You know, I'm a bit of a reverse Trump in that way. I'm a I don't know how you say Trump backwards, but that is fun. It is fun to try to say words backwards sometimes because the way you make it seem like you're saying the words backwards is usually go, like with the whole Trump thing. I wasn't even figuring out like how Trump is spelled backwards. I was just like, I know it ends with a P, and then we'll go from there. We'll figure it all out from there. So, doesn't that kind of sound like I'm saying Trump backwards? It kind of sounds more like a whale call now that I'm like, now that I have headphones and I can actually hear the noises and the sounds that I'm making and my fucking lip smacking and my swallowing and my fucking, sniffling and all that, that I can finally hear all of that. Kind of sounds like a whale song. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of sounds like two humpbacks who are trying to hump each other. That's kind of what it sounded like. But you guys know what I mean. I don't have voice talent like that. I can't do like sound effects with my voice. Like even my fart sound effect it's very elementary. It's very basic. I just go with the classic. I want to be one of those people that can go like, "Oh." I wish I could do that, but I can't. You heard it. I can't do it. I wish I could be one of those people because that's like the most convincing fart sound effect. Even though I've never had a fart that sounded like that before, it's just when most people make a sound fart effect, they do like the teeth over lips, like the classic, which also doesn't really sound like a fart, but it sounds too inconspicuous for someone to be making it with their mouth, right? It sounds because when you're doing a fart noise with your mouth, you're trying to really get like a point across. You know what I mean? You're trying to prove something to someone when you make a fart sound effect with your mouth. God damn, I really do hold the mic too close. It's like every time I hear myself make a noise that's like slightly over a certain decibel, it's like it rings in my ears. Sounds like I just got hit by an Israeli bomb and I'm a Palestinian preschooler. Yeah, yeah. Fart sound effects and the mass murder of children, dude. It's the two things I think about all day. If I'm not thinking about, you know, boobs or ass or feet sometimes. I'll be honest. I think about a foot every now and then. I think about a foot job every. I know some people are like, ew, gross feet, but it's like if the feet are clean, I don't see what the issue is. I'm gonna be 100% honest here. If the feet are, I can understand where people are coming from with not wanting to eat the butt, even if it is clean, right? Because how clean can a butt really get? But like a foot, I don't get that. Like if a bitch wants you to suck on her toes, dude, suck on her toes. I, first of all, as a man, I don't understand not being that horny, right? I don't understand not being horny enough to be like, I gotta suck on her toes to get pussy, right? I don't understand like that mind frame, that like mentality that some dudes would have of like turning down sex because you have to suck on a cup. I get it if she's like Bigfoot, you know what I mean? I get it if she's got some size 23s on her feet. You know, if she goes to the same fucking shoemaker that Shaq does. I can understand that. If the things are hairy, if they've got a little bit of toe jam in there, because I got toe jam, dude. Every time I cut my nails, I'm gagging, dude. I'm like a dog. Like a dog after it eats grass. I'm like every time I cut my toenails smell like shit. I don't know how. I'm a pretty clean dude. I don't wash my feet because I'm not a fucking Baptist. All right, I'm a good old fashioned Catholic. We don't wash feet. All right. So I don't wash my feet, but like I let the water get in there, you know what I mean? And the drain in my bathroom, at least at my parents' house, it's not really a drain. It's more of like a trickle, you know, like the water doesn't drain out, it trickles out. So it gets filled up in there. And so basically I'm going to like a Vietnamese spa every time I take a shower. You know what I mean? I'm getting a nice foot soak and the soap runs down from my armpits and my gooch and ball asshole area down into the still water. And so I mean, I imagine my feet are getting pretty clean, but somehow, dude, and I don't wear shoes like that. Like when I'm in the house, I ain't wearing shoes. Even when I'm in public, most of the time, you catch me in public, I'm wearing the off-brand Crocs. All right, I'm wearing the Rugged Shark Crocs. And if you don't know, Rugged Shark is the Walmart brand Crocs, and that's what I rock now, dude. I'm rocking the Rugged Sharks desert camo. You know what I mean? I'm I'm looking like if an unemployed dude went to fight in Iraq. That's what my shoe choice looks like. Desert camo, Walmart Crocs, dude. Fire. You got to get yourself a pair. But like, I'm not one of those people that like wears like like high top fucking sneakers all the time or whatever, and my feet are just like enclosed in a sauna all day. Like most of the time, those puppies are getting some fresh air. You know what I mean? The dogs are painting most of the time. Just and I wear slides. Like if I have to go outside, like if I have to take the trash out or whatever, I'm wearing some slides. My my feet are breathing good, dude. I think I have healthier feet than I do lungs. You know, with the amount that I fucking vaped and just smoked, I'm pretty sure my feet are healthier than my lungs. Which I mean, my lungs must smell like shit, dude. If my feet are that healthy, and they are healthy, dude, I don't have any foot pain because I don't wear like tight sneakers or anything. I'm not doing fucking Chinese foot binding on myself like a lot of other people are. So my feet are pretty healthy. So if my feet are like that healthy and they still smell like dog shit, dude, my lungs must be, I mean, destroyed. I must I must only have like one lung or something. If my feet are that bad, despite how much, you know, healthier they are than the average person's foot, and just how well I take care. I don't take any care of my lungs, dude. I haven't walked more than a mile probably this entire summer. I'm really trying to think. I'm on my feet a lot of the time. I do a fair amount of manual labor, but I'm not doing manual labor that gives you like good cardio. You know what I mean? And there's no type of manual labor that does that. I don't know. Unless you're like a foot messenger or something like that, right? Unless you're fucking running, you know, scrolls back and forth all day between two Greek political fucking politicians. That was just one of the dumbest thing I've ever said. But like, unless you're doing that type of manual labor, you do not have good cardio. And really, those people that are like, yeah, I do concrete, so I basically work out all day. It's like you work out very specific muscles, right? Like dudes that do concrete have like gigantic fucking forearms, and then they have the most pencil fucking legs you've ever seen in your life. These motherfuckers are walking around on a pair of Ticonderogas, dude. They got you could fill out a Scantron with those things, right? Every fucking blue collar dude, not every one of them, but a lot of them have the same build, dude. The biggest forearms you've ever seen in your entire life. Like the Gooners will never reach that level of forearm like strength and stamina. gigantic forearms, the most muscular, grossly muscular hands. They have like the Ronnie Coleman of hands. You know what I mean? Like dudes that do concrete that just like fucking move around 5 gallon buckets full of concrete all day. I don't know what they do, dude. I'm a fucking rich fancy. I'm an elite. All right. So I don't really know what concrete dudes do all day. But like, yeah, they just have like the most grossly muscular hands in the world, and then the most gigantic belly on earth. Like if these dudes had a fucking hernia, they wouldn't be able to get it fixed because there's no way you're cutting through all that fat and fucking muscle to get to the what is it? The abdominal wall or whatever. Like that's what a hernia is. It's like your intestine leaks through your abdominal wall, which is it's insane. And somehow it like fucks up your balls too. Like one time I thought I had a hernia because I had like this pain in my abs, and then my abs. I've never had abs before, but like where my abs would be if I had, I know there's ab muscles there, right? But like calling them abs, it's like let's use the scientific term here because these aren't abs, these are abdominal muscles. You know what I mean? Um, but I had like this pain there. And then I had like a pain in, God, was it the right ball or the left one? I can't tell, dude. My balls are so big that kind of like blend into one thing. But I had a pain in one of my balls. And so I was like, I think we got a hernia here, dude. And so I went to the fucking, my dad took me to the hospital. I was like, Dad, I think I have a hernia. And he took me to the hospital, dude. I thought we were just going to like the local fucking 24-hour clinic and some fucking old greasy nurse was just gonna feel up on my balls and be like, no, you ain't got one. You ain't got no hernia. Get out of here. I thought that's what we were gonna do. But no, we went to like this big fucking hospital somewhere, which I I don't know how serious a hernia. Some people live with hernias. So I don't know why we had to go to the hospital, but we went to this hospital and did we go in the emergent? I don't think we went in the emergency room, dude, because I feel like I would have heard a lot more screaming if we went in the emergent. So it must have been like urgent care, which I feel like even that's a step too far. I get it. So I'm your kid, so you really care about me, but calm down, dude. Like the meat right, the glazing is insane, dude. Chill out a little bit, man. But we went into like urgent care and this took like I was there for 5 hours, dude, for something that wasn't even a hernia. Like they did like I got like an MRI done on me, which we have really good health care. We did at least back then. So it probably didn't cost that much money. And I don't think it was a full body one, but I got an MRI done on me. And anyone that's had an MRI before, especially, I don't know if it was an MRI, but it was something. They were scanning my body for some reason. But before they do that, they inject like this fucking it's like this dye that I don't know lights up when they do the MRI, but MRI is like magnets and shit. I don't know how that shit works, but they put fucking, big ink inside your arm and they inject it in there, dude. And the feeling you get is like the lady was like, "Do you need to go to like the bathroom right now? Do you need to like piss right now?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't need to piss right now." But like I had to piss right afterwards because that's like why she asked it. She was like, "Your entire body's gonna feel warm, and you're gonna feel like you're pissing yourself." And maybe I, like maybe sometimes people do piss themselves, but that is exactly what it felt like, dude. And it was a funny feeling, right? It wasn't. I've never done like opioids or anything, and I never will, dude. I don't care if I'm like if I broke my entire body. I don't care if I'm full on like that episode of SpongeBob where they're selling chocolate and the dude wakes up and he's like, every day I break all my bones and then all my skin tears. Like, I'm never doing that shit, dude. I've like just looking at a video of Kensington Avenue or really any like street like that in any major American city. You're not touching that shit. I don't care how bad it hurt. Just give me the edibles, dude. Give me the Sour Patch Dummy edibles. All right. I'm not doing fentanyl because I broke my arm. And they do that. They like give that to people when they get like a nose cert. It's insane. Like when you get your wisdom teeth removed, they give you what is it? They give you hydrocodone, I think, when you get your fucking wisdom teeth removed. It's heroin in a pill form. They give for getting your teeth. I've had teeth pulled before. Like when I was a little kid, I had a tooth pulled. They didn't give me fucking heroin to help with that. It's insane that they do that. They're just like, yep. Oh, what? Yeah, you and your wife are getting a divorce. Time for some heroin. Which that might actually be a useful application for heroin is a divorce from your wife. Because at that point you're just guys having fun. You know what I mean? When you get a divorce, do heroin for a little bit, just for a little bit. Don't do it too long. Hey, you're the one. You're the one that can control your heroin addiction. All right. So do your heroin after you get a divorce from your wife. I know everyone else. Everyone else in the history of the world that has tried heroin gets severely addicted to it, but not you. You're the one. All right. I know you, buddy. When you get divorced from your wife, start doing heroin. But I mean, yeah, it's just insane. But they didn't give me heroin when I got when they were checking at my balls and shit. And by the way, dude, piece of a nurse when I was there. She wasn't the one doing everything, but she was like the one that walked me there, like walked me to the room. I got like my own private. It was insane. It was because the way you see if you have a hernia or not is an Indian dude with a gray fucking beard and a pair of blue uh I forgot the fucking nitrile gloves, picks up on your balls a little bit and goes, cough for me, please. And then you see if you have a hernia or not. They were going the whole fucking 9 yards. And I wasn't even like, it didn't even hurt that bad. I was just like, yeah, it hurts sometimes. And my dad was, call the fucking police. Help. It just, conductor, we have a problem. And I get it. Once again, I understand why. That's, that's your responsibility as a parent. But it was kind of crazy. It's kind of insane. Especially when I didn't have a hernia. That was the most insane part of it. But I mean, the lady, I guess she was just like my nurse, and I was just chilling there, dude. Like, like I said, it was 5 hours long. I was just sitting in the fucking bed for most of it. I was just like chilling there playing Subway Surfers on my phone and then going over to Reddit occasionally because that was the only social media I had. Which Reddit isn't even social media. It's just a ball of hate. That's what Reddit is. Like when people describe Reddit as like it's a series of forums or it's a social media but for intellectuals or people with niche interests or whatever. I'm like, no, it's not. Dude. It's not that. It's just imagine the most hate in the world, but people who are like too cowardly to truly enact that hate, and now you have Reddit. And hey, I'm not better than any of those people. I've done it before, all right? I've done it, like I said, I've gone over this before. I've been a little bitch on Reddit before, so I understand it, dude. I'm not saying I'm exempt from that. I'm part of that, dude, but let's stop calling it social media. It's a place, it's not a community of niche interests. It's a community of niche hates, right? It's a community of people who are really into these niche subjects, but also have the hate in their heart of 1,000 Hitlers, right? That's what Reddit is. So I was just, yeah, I was on there just scrolling through my phone, being like, just watching people scream at each other, just full on rage typing in the comments, uh, and doing that. And I was just in the bed, but the nurse was a piece, dude, and she was kind of pregnant a little bit, so she had the big old titties, and she was a real fine girl. And I was like, God damn it, dude. I better have like the most extreme hernia of all time. Like that's what I was praying for because I was going in there and I was like, yeah, it hurts a little bit, but it doesn't hurt like that much. Like I can still do shit. But like when I saw her, I was like hoping I was like, I hope this is like a hernia so large that they've like never seen it before. Like a hernia so painful that no one could imagine it. But no, it wasn't that. It wasn't a hernia of any, it wasn't even an injury. They were just like, yeah, you're fucked up. I don't know. They literally just told me to take Advil. But like when I was laying in that hospital bed, they did like 90 tests on me. Like at one point they brought in like a piss jug. They knew I was a pisser for real. They didn't bring in that little fucking cup that they bring in for other people. They brought in like a gallon of milk, basically, an empty gallon of milk for me to piss in, dude. That thing still had the 2% logo on it. This was they brought in this big ass jug for me to piss in. And they were right to do that because I damn near filled that thing up, dude. I was pissing in there. Um, and so they did like a little piss test on me. And then finally, the worst part of fucking having a fake hernia is they scan your balls, dude. They do a fucking, what's that called? A sonogram or whatever when they like, the shit they do on pregnant women. They did that on my balls. Right? You think they do that around like the stomach area, right? Like the abdomen where the tear in the abdominal wall might be. No, they went straight for the balls. And It is very awkward because the way they did it at the place that I went, at least, they gave me a towel and they were like, put your dick like on your stomach and then hold the towel over your dick. Like not like a full size towel, just like a little fucking thing you would use to clean like plates or whatever. Or like if you ever if you ever see like a fat black dude in public, like the type of towel they have like draped over their shoulder that they like wipe their forehead with. Right? That's the type of fucking towel they gave me. They gave me like an NFL sideline Gatorade towel to hold over my dick while they put the most, they have to use like a special jelly. It's like a conductive jelly or some shit on your ball. The most of that ever. I mean, my balls were soaked in that shit. My balls, there wasn't a wrinkle on my balls after that shit. It moisturized me right the fuck up, dude. And they put so much on there, like the most. And they were just, and it was like a, I think it was a dude, if I remember correctly. It was a dude just like fucking with the wand, just going around my balls, just being like, "I'm gonna check out what's going on." And he didn't even compliment me. You got a nice pair on you, son. Didn't even give me that, dude. Just dead silent, just like the jelly squishing, just all around my balls. Just, and all that for no hernia, dude. I felt like the biggest bitch of all time walking out of there. And I still get like that abdominal pain every now and then. So I don't know. Maybe I had like a tiny hernia and they just missed it. Or maybe there was like a slight tear there, but it wasn't like a full on hernia. Like my big intestine wasn't like leaking out of my muscles. So yeah, no hernia. Never had a hernia before. Never had a surgery of any kind. And I don't know if I ever will, dude, because I feel like every person that I know who's like had surgery, like I played football, and a lot of those dudes like got surgery. And one of my friends plays high school football, and he got surgery. Every single one of those people just complains so much worse after the surgery, like for the rest of the time. It's not. I've never heard of like a knee surgery fixing anyone's knees, right? Like everyone, everyone I've ever heard of that got a knee surgery is like, yeah, dude, it just like it's swollen all the time now. Like my knee is just perpetually the size of a softball. Like that's every surgery I've ever heard, especially when it comes to like knee stuff. And I do have bad knees, but I think I'm just gonna Goggins it. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna let it like decay slowly into nothing. And just pray that like by the time my knees are like ready to explode, we'll have bionic legs or some shit like that. I can be a little bit of a cyborg. I'm hoping that shit happens. I'm hoping I'm hoping that happens because I'm not going in to get fucking surgery on these things, dude. They're perfectly fine as are. But yeah, it kind of sucks now because I've lost a lot of weight, and so now I'm kind of like a normal sized person, but I have like the knees of someone who weighs 300 pounds and like plays fucking offensive line for the Eagles. Like I have horrible fucking knees. They don't hurt all the time, and they really don't hurt that often, but like they don't bend how they're supposed to, dude. Like most people when they walk, like they take a step and like their knee or like their foot goes in front of them subconsciously. I have to do that like consciously. I have to like make the effort to like get my knee in front of me or get my foot in front of me when I'm walking. But yeah, still not getting that fucking surgery on him. I don't know. Unless I just want to know what hydrocodone feels like, then I'll do that. Or if like there's a draft for the military, like if World War III starts popping off, I might go get the knee surgery just to be like, nope, I got messed up knees. You can't take me. But the downside of that is shit might get bad enough where they start taking dudes with shitty knees, and then you're just in the meat grinder, dude. Like if you get in there early, like if you sign up for the military before the draft starts, you can kind of you're in a better situation. But if they're forcing you in there, dude, you're going to the front lines and getting destroyed by some fucking 5'2" Chinese guy with a missile. Like that's what's happening to you if you get drafted. So recommendation, if World War III pops up, I'm not saying it will. Things right now, at least in terms of a world war happening, do seem pretty chill. I know a lot of people were like, Iran's gonna start world. No, they're not, dude. Iran can't start a war like in their own country. They can't they can't start a war in their own country. So Iran's not gonna start World War III. China's probably not either. Russia definitely not. They can't even fucking hold off Ukraine. Even though, like, I know we gave Ukraine all like the weapons and the money and shit like that, but it's like they still have like a limited amount of people. Like, there's 4 times as many people in Russia as there is in Ukraine. So the fact that they haven't won that yet, I just, that gives me the fact that they can't take two like small provinces in eastern Ukraine, that to me indicates that they can't conquer the entire world. I don't know. I know a lot of people disagree with me and they think that Russia is like the bastion of all evil and that they have like some grand scheme to take over the entire world. But I would venture to say their inability to conquer small, pretty desolate pieces of land in Eastern Europe, their inability to do that to me says they kind of know what's going on. They kind of know that they can't take over the whole world. They can't even take over two shitty parts of Ukraine. They can't even really take over their entire country. Like down in like the Caucasus with like Dagestan and sorry, I did just eat a little bit of chicken noodle soup, so I'm burping a bit. But down in like Dagestan and Chechnya and shit, like they don't have control over any of that shit, dude. So I don't know why they went for Ukraine in the first place, but I do understand it a little bit, right? Because Dagestan and Chechnya and all that shit, those are like Muslim areas, and so they're just kind of like, fuck them, let them do their own thing. They're basically not even Russians to me. I know they claim to be Russians. I don't really count them as Russians, dude. I know some people might disagree with that. I don't really count them. They're Muslim for one, and their faces, there's just something. They do have like that Eastern European, like blank sadness to their faces, but they don't have like that Russian look to their faces, which is why I don't really count them as Russians. And also, they're Muslim, and they do like wrestling. They are very, Soviet in a lot of the way they do things. They're very like silent, stoic, and they train their whole lives to become like to win like a bronze medal at the fucking Milan Olympics or whatever. They do that, but I mean, other than that, I don't know how Russian they don't drink, right? That alone should disqualify them from being considered Russians. They're not raging alcoholics. That is the main mark of a Russian in my eyes, and the people of Dagestan and Chechnya are not that. There are other things that are not desirable, but they are not raging alcoholics. But I do understand why they took. It's like Ukraine is Russia. I don't care what anyone says. No, they're their own thing. They have a different church and a different government. It's like, dude, they all eat fucking potatoes and wear goddamn Adidas tracksuits. And they all have that weird fucking bowl cut type of thing. Not like a bowl cut. I don't know how to describe it. They all have like those weird, like choppy bangs. At least all the dudes do. They're Russians. They're closer to Russians than fucking, the Yupiks or whatever in Siberia are, right? They're closer to Russians than those fucking like reindeer herders out there in fucking, whatever the province is called, their territory or republic or whatever the fuck they call it. Yeah, they're more Russian than that. So to me, that's why I support Russia and Ukraine. Putin only paid me $200,000 to say that, dude. $200,000, that's not enough to go on a fucking rant like that. So how about you guys get off my ass, dude? Putin only gave me 200K. 200K in America, that's nothing. 200K in America is enough to like make like $5 in a crypto scam. Like that's what $200,000 is in America. So how about you get off my ass? And Putin, he's a good guy. All right, he is a good guy, and he is very Russian looking as well. It's and the fact that Zelensky of all, I get that he's a Jew, and I don't fucking care about all that. I get that he claims to be Ukrainian, or that guy is one of the most Russian looking people of all time. That guy is from that guy's Russian. Like I don't care what you say. Like Zelensky looks like he could be an extra in the TV show Chernobyl, which I guess did take place in Ukraine. But I'm talking about the part where they were in Russia doing like the trial and like the investigation and all that shit. Zelensky would have fit in right, like perfectly there. And people will be like, "Oh, well, you're white, so therefore you're Russian." No, dude. All right, I'm not. I'm American. White Americans, and really black Americans have like a distinct look about them, right? Like a black American, if you put like a black American and like an African side by side, and by black American, I mean like someone who was descended from slaves. But I mean, I know a lot of people are like, fucking, a million Nigerians migrated here, so slavery wasn't that bad. No, like, you guys know what I'm talking about here when I say Black American, right? If you put like a Black American and then put an African side by side, I would get that shit 100% of the time. A Black African, not like some, not fucking Drickus Duplessis, like a fucking, some black dude from Africa. If you put those two people side by side, I would be able to tell them apart 100% of the time. If you put a white dude from America and a white dude from pick a European country, I would be able to tell those people apart without a doubt in my mind. You, you can also tell Native Americans apart from Mexicans, dude. Americans, we just have a fucking distinct look about us, right? I can tell an American separate from a fucking Canadian. I could one generation, dude. One generation is all it takes to get fucking American face. And I'm not talking about just the look that you have or like the look that develops on your face when you balloon up to 300 pounds. That's not what I'm talking about here when I say American face. I'm talking about like a distinct look. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's I don't know if it's the eyes. I don't know if it's the nosy. I think the eyes maybe are part of it, right? Because most other places on Earth don't have like the type of just emotion that Americans do, right? I'm not saying positively or negatively. They just don't have like the same level of emotion. And so for that reason, it's pretty easy to tell the difference, but there's just something about an American face. I know an American face when I see one, dude. Like if I'm walking down the street and I can identify, all right? I can identify who's from America and who's not, dude. I don't care. Canada and Mexico, I can tell the difference, dude. So don't be trying to fucking claim you're an American around me because I can tell the difference, dude. I'm gonna whip out the calipers and start measuring the fucking width of your nose and the size of your cranium and all that shit, dude. I'll go full fucking phrenology on your ass if you try to claim America around me and you're not a goddamn American. I can tell the difference. All right. Most people can't. Most people don't have that type of patriotism that I do, that type of racist patriotism that I do. But I do have that type of patriotism, all right? And I can tell the difference. I can tell the difference between an American and a non-American. And I can tell the difference between like an immigrant that moved to America because they're like, fuck yeah, America, let's go. And an immigrant that moved here because they're like, I heard I can get like free money from the government. Or I can tell the difference between those two types of immigrants as well, dude. And it's not just that one's Mexican and then one's literally basically every other country that's that immigrates to America. But yeah, I can tell the difference, dude. And I do love the Mexicans. And this is like a feeling that I've always had is that if the illegal immigrants were just coming from Mexico, no one would give a shit, right? It's when the Venezuelans and the Haitians and the Chinese and the Indians and fucking whoever else start coming here, right? Polish. Let's be honest with ourselves here. There's not a whole lot of Polish illegal immigrants coming to this country, but but if there were, dude, if there were, I would have a fucking problem with it. All right. But the Mexicans, I don't care. I know a lot of people are like, we need to build a border wall to keep the Mexicans out. We can build a border wall to keep everyone else out, but you're not keeping the fucking Mexicans out. All right. You're not doing that, dude. They're too hard fucking working. And I think not only are they like hardworking people and like they're super like religious and stuff like that, and that's part of the reason I like them, but they're also like they're very, very American in a few senses, right? Like I'm pretty sure Mexico consumes the most Coca-Cola per capita of any country. It's like a major problem in Mexico. Like diabetes is a problem in Mexico and it's a problem in America. And really those are the only two countries where diabetes is a problem. So that's strike one. All right, Mexico rules because they all have fucking diabetes and they drink Coke all the time. Sorry, it's true, dude. So that's reason one why I think Mexicans are pretty close to Americans, right? They're fat. They don't really, care too terribly much about their health. They eat fucking mountains of food. That's why Mexican food is so popular here, right? It's not popular just because of all the Mexican immigrants that are here, but it's popular because it's very American, right? Like most of Mexican food is just like slop on a fucking plate. And it's goddamn delicious. All right. People are like, Mexican, they use the same three ingredients and those three ingredients are the fucking best ingredients on earth. So how about you shut your goddamn mouth when you're talking about fucking Mexicans? All right. It's so fucking tortillas. So carbs, right? Delicious. Beef, once again, the best meat. Beef is the best tasting meat. I'm a big pork guy. You know, anyone that knows me will tell you I'm a big pork guy, but beef is the best fucking meat on earth. Whether it's steak or ground beef, whatever, I don't give a shit. Best goddamn meat. And then cheese. Cheese is fucking delicious, dude. It's just fat and salt. It's fucking delicious, all right? So don't come at me being like, oh, Mexicans use the same fucking three ingredients for everything. Okay, they do. And they use the fucking best ingredients, all right? I don't care if you have 1,000 different ingredients. They might all be shit, all right? And Mexican shows the best fucking three ones, and that's how they make all their food. I just love Mexican, dude. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. So the food is very American. They are very Americans themselves. Third of all, guns. I mean, they love guns down there, dude. The cartel, they love the guns. I'm sure a lot of people, just average citizens down there, have a lot of guns. They're illegal in Mexico, but they don't really give a shit and they do what they want anyway. Once again, very American of them, just kind of disregarding what everyone else says, not caring about, statistics or whatever, just doing whatever the fuck they want to do. And I'm a gun guy, but I mean, no one else is having school shootings. All right. I am very pro gun, but let's fucking be honest with ourselves here. There is a few downsides to guns, and one of them is children being slaughtered in classrooms. I know people are gonna, well, only like 6 kids die a year and like planned school shootings, and it's like, guys, I know, I get that. Oh, black people commit most of the men. Guys, I know. I'm pro gun already, but it's just I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like fucking America's, lax gun laws aren't the reason that like there's tons of school shootings here. There's many other reasons as well, right? There's our lack of mental health care, our lack of like social care for each other in general, right? Those are very big reasons, maybe bigger reasons than guns are for the reasons why we have school shootings. But part of the reason is you can go to Walmart and buy an AR-15. That's part of the reason. It's people acting like it's not is fucking insane. And I'm one of those guys. You should be able to buy a fucking bazooka if you want to, all right? But I'm not gonna sit here and fucking like act like every other country has like school shootings, right? Or if we just like stop giving 12-year-olds Lexapro, that would stop all school shootings. It would stop a lot of school shootings, but it wouldn't stop all of them, right? Because you can go to Walmart and buy a fucking AR-15. Not saying I'm against guns. I'm just saying that's a reason. But the Mexicans, they love their guns, dude. They and they don't have like a Second Amendment right like we do. So they have to get all their guns from America. So all the guns they use are like American made guns. They're all fucking toting Glocks and fucking Bushmasters and shit like that. Third reason why Mexicans rule a fuck ton, dude. They love guns. They got the scraps on them, all right? And right now, that's kind of all the reasons that I can think of why Mexicans are basically Americans. But that's a fucking, that's a damn good reason why. Those are some three, those are basically like the three tenets of America: overeating, I can't remember the other one I said, and guns. All right. That's American culture in a nutshell, and that's Mexican culture in a nutshell, or at least modern Mexican culture. I know they have like the Dias de los Muertos or whatever, but eh, I don't know. That's basically a St. Patty's Day parade, right? Um, but yeah, they just rule hard as fuck. So I, and maybe many other Americans as well, wouldn't really have a problem with illegal immigration if all of them were coming from Mexico, dude. I wouldn't give a fuck. Oh, a million Mexicans came here? Good. Good. The roads are gonna get paved quicker and and the food's gonna be better. But so what, right? It's not, and they're a very like honorable people, right? They're a very like disciplined, like strict group of people, right? In everything that they do, like even the cartel, as like chaotic and just generally unorganized as it may seem, they do have like certain tenets that they follow. They are all rats, right? Like that's part of the cartel, like culture, but that's like part of the culture, right? It's a very, I don't want to say disciplined group of people, but like, even when like they're committing crimes, they're still like fucking, getting the Virgin Mary tattooed on their back and wearing their fucking crosses, and that doesn't make you a good person, right? Like you can scalp a dude alive and then be like, I love the Virgin Mary. That doesn't automatically make you a good person, but you know what I mean. They still have like that work ethic and like discipline, even when it comes to like being a cartel member, right? Like even the fucking kingpins, even those dudes wear like fucking, cowboy hats and like Wrangler shirts and fucking Walmart jeans and boots and shit around, right? Like they're not like these flashy motherfuckers over in other places where they're driving like a gold Lamborghini and shit. Some of them are, but those dudes get fucking pinched, right? Those dudes get ratted out by the other cartel leaders because they don't play that fucking shit, all right? That's why El Chapo ended up in jail. Because he was out here being fucking flashy and stuff. He wasn't being a real Mexican cartel leader. And they just have that sort of like, I don't know, pride in just everything that they do, which is very un-American of them. It's very un-American of them to be like very disciplined and take pride in like even the most minuscule work that they do. It's very un-American to do that, but it is a good quality that a lot of people in Mexico have. So hey, there's your fourth reason why. Why need to give you guys five reasons? Most fucking people in this country can't count that high. All right, that's why they're listening to podcasts. That's why they're listening to podcasts instead of reading books. And once again, I'm one of those fucking people. All right, I don't like reading books. That's why I listen to podcasts and audiobooks. But yeah, the Mexicans, dude. It once again, no problem with them. If that's where every single fucking illegal immigrant in this country came from, I would not give a shit, dude. I would not give a one quarter of a fuck if they were all coming from Mexico, dude. Because, like I said, Mexicans rule hard as fuck, and they basically are Americans. All right, they're basically American already. They're morbidly obese, and every single like top murder city in the world is in Mexico, which that shit's also a lie. That shit's a blatant lie. They're like St. Louis is like the 10th most dangerous city in the world. No, it's not. It's just that other countries that are far more violent do not have the capability to record crime, right? Like that's why like Tijuana is considered the most dangerous city in the world. Tijuana is not the most dangerous city in the Lagos is probably 10 times more dangerous than Tijuana. All right? But it's just Tijuana has like a competent government, semi-competent, not completely competent, but they have a competent government that's like able to record crime statistics, right? So to me, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. I'm still not visiting Tijuana, and part of the reason is that I don't want a child prostitute and I don't want to watch a donkey fuck a chick, and I have no interest in cocaine. It's part of the reason why I'm not visiting Tijuana ever in my life. Other part of the reason probably is pretty fucking dangerous. It's definitely not the most dangerous city in the world. That's absurd, right? Fucking, there's a million cities in fucking Palestine that are getting bombed every day. I'm sure it's more dangerous to live there, right? There's like little fucking hamlets in Gaza that are just getting carpet bombed constantly. So I'm sure it's more dangerous to live there than in Tijuana. But yeah, it's ridiculous, right? They're like St. Louis. America has some of the most violent cities in the... No, it doesn't, dude. Go to any African, choose an African city at random with more than 10,000 people, and you will be more scared there than walking down the most dangerous street in St. Louis. So I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you if you pick any fucking just random city that's not in North America or Europe, and you will be terrified for your life. Maybe exclude like East Asia, right? Like China, Japan, Taiwan, South Korea. Exclude that. Choose any other fucking country and you will be terrified. You will be fearing for your life. Like I said, I don't think Tijuana is like the fucking, Arlington, Virginia. I don't think it's like that, right? I don't think it's like pristine, perfectly manicured lawns, like sprawling suburbs where you can go out and like ride your bike in the middle of the night with $1 million in your backpack. I don't think it's that, but I don't think it's the most dangerous city in the fucking world. I think that's an absurd thought. And they also don't count like killing in war in that, right? They don't count that as like being violent or whatever. When it's like, no, that is it's still violence and it's still dangerous. Maybe it's slightly more justified. A lot of it isn't, right? A lot of the killing that goes on in wars, you know, probably throughout history. I was going to say in wars in modern times, but definitely throughout history, a lot of that isn't justified, but it's still violence and it's still dangerous, right? It's still dangerous to be in fucking, Kiev or whatever. It's still dangerous to be there, whether or not, the killing is part of a war. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me how they count that, right? I would rather go to Tijuana than fucking than Juba, South Sudan. Is Juba the capital? Fuck, I forgot the capital of South Sudan. Now I'm gonna have to pluck out all my eyebrow hairs and fucking bang myself in the forehead and call myself a fucking moron because I forgot the capital of South Sudan. Juba is the capital. Nope, I don't have to bang myself in the head and go stupid, 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 dumb. It costs $2,400 to get to South Sudan. If you want to go to Juba, South Sudan, get ready to pay $2,400 at least from Kansas City and fly for a day and 16 hours. So basically fucking 2 days. Yeah. How you going to fucking Juba though? No interest in that, dude. Even with all the, I don't think they have baddies there. I don't think there's a lot. They're all very tall and skinny. Maybe that's your type, not my personal type. Not saying I would say no if a fucking 7 foot tall black chick came up to me and was like, "Do you want to eat my pussy? I have a very good pussy. Would you like to eat my pussy?" I wouldn't. I wouldn't say no in that exact scenario. But I'm not gonna be seeking it out either. Or maybe I will, dude. Maybe I will just be like, fuck it, I'm not gonna find love anyway. I might as well try to create fucking these genetic beasts. I might as well. I might as well give that a shot. I might as well try to create kids that have my fucking short, manlet, like muscular frame, but in a 7 foot body. Might try that shit out, but I'm not gonna be seeking it out, is all I'm saying. At least right now, dude. But if you are a 7 foot tall black lady from South Sudan and you want me to eat your pussy, please lick my clit. Lick my clit while your finger is in my pussy. It would be so good. Uh, if you're thinking that right now, DM me. I want you to eat my pussy. Oh God, your dick is so big. I'm about to squat. I'm going to squat all over you. I can't do an African accent if I'm not doing the raspy voice. It's an odd trait that I have, you know? That's kind of, I can't do an Irish unless I'm doing a high pitched voice. Like if I'm doing an Irish accent, I have to talk like this. If I'm doing an Irish accent, and that's barely an Irish accent. That's barely an accent that exists on Earth. That was a horrible Irish. I can do a decent fucking Irish accent. That was not it. And I'm not gonna try it again because that would further embarrass myself. No, that doesn't represent every time I've done an Irish accent. Let me do one again. This time it'll be better. And it's far worse. I just do JFK again. I just, that's it's insane that I'm referencing my own podcast. It's it's insane when you have like no listeners and then you reference your own podcast being like, yeah, you guys all remember that. That was like an iconic moment, right? It went viral on like TikTok or whatever. No. It's it's just insane to do that. I tried to do a Michael Caine impersonation one time and it sounded not exactly like JFK, but vaguely like JFK, and it was just funny. But JFK is a Mick, so it'd probably be pretty fucking close to that. You know, just the Irish. I've had enough of them, but the Mexicans can come as much as they want, dude. And I think that's a mistake people make, dude. It's a mistake that like racist people make is by like clumping in Mexicans with all other like Central and South Americans, dude. It's like, no, dude. Mexicans are fucking different. I've never seen a fucking Costa Rican, you know, working a concrete crew in 100-degree heat when it's 1,000% humidity outside. Never seen that before. I don't know what a Costa Rican looks like either, so maybe I have seen it before. But for the most part, I'm seeing the Mexican lads with their big ass fucking lunch boxes full of tamales and fucking torta sandwiches and shit like that their torta wife packed for 'em. The torta pack, the torta. And I see that usually with their fucking, those straw hats that they wear and like those UV shirts. I'm trying to convert to being Mexican, by the way. I've been working on it. We're coming on a couple years now that I've been trying to convert to Mexican. I do have a UV shirt, but it's not like one of like the bright yellow ones that they wear. It's like a darker, it's for like swimming, but it doesn't look like a swimming shirt. I have one of those. I still don't have the straw hat yet, though. That's something I've got to work on. I got to get that big old fucking Mexican yard worker straw hat. And then I got to take a couple other steps to fully, complete my transition into being Mexican, but we'll get there someday, dude. It's, and I might have to. I'm gonna have to talk to someone at Harvard about that shit to get that shit into the DSM or whatever. Because if you can be transgender, I know this is like the dumb fucking joke that everyone does, but if you can say that you're a man or a woman or whatever when you have, if you can say you're a man when you have double D tits and a fucking nice plump hairy vagina, that was a little bit horny of me to say, but it's true. If you can say you're a man while you have big triple D shit tits with fucking perfectly round pink areolas and a nice fat pussy that's got a little bit of pubes on it, but not too much, and a nice perky clit, and say you're a man, then I could say I'm a fucking Mexican. All right, I get it. I know that's like the hacky thing that like everyone's said 1,000 times, but it's true. And it shouldn't be true for all ethnicities, right? You shouldn't be able to convert to being like Nigerian or whatever, but like I think maybe just Mexican. Because I, I, I'd be hard pressed to find another country that I like more than Mexico. I don't think there is one. I don't think I like any other country than Mexico. I hate all of them. I really hate all other countries except Mexico. And I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up Catholic and I spent a lot of time around Mexicans or whatever. But I really fucking like them. They roll hard as shit. Mexico, Americans go to Mexico all the time, and I guess probably part of it is their proximity to us, but I think just the other part of it, it just rules so hard. But they don't go there to be like real fucking Mexicans, you know? Like most people go, like most people vacation in Mexico to go like be a whore or whatever, right? If you're a dude and you're vacationing in Mexico, you're either there to fuck American whores who are like blackout drunk and away from their boyfriends, or you're going to Tijuana to be a pedophile. Like those are the two options if you're like an American dude who's like vacationing in Mexico, or you're there to like buy steroids or like smuggle guns or drugs or something like that. But for the most part, people just go to Mexico to it's just a big old fuck fest, right? And I got to imagine that they hate that. Like just the regular Mexicans that live there, just seeing like droves of fucking rich white tourists coming down there just to get like fucked. Like I would be pissed about that shit. Like if I lived in poverty my entire life and I was just entrenched in like generational poverty with a fucking insanely corrupt government like dictating my every move and fucking cartel members kidnapping my family and shit, and then I finally get a decent paying job and it's at a fucking resort where white people go to like get drunk and fuck each other, I would be so goddamn mad. Because if you're gonna pay for a hotel in another country and a flight to another country and food and all that shit, do something that you wouldn't be able to do in America. Like you can be in America and just be a drunk whore there too. And whore, I'm referring to man and female whores, dude. I don't discriminate when it comes to whores. I just don't like whores as a whole, as a whole, which is it is very incel of me. And I think the main reason I don't like whores is they just can't say that they're whores, dude. Like especially the man whores. Like the man whores will be like, no, it's different because I'm a man. And no, it's not. No, it's you're still sticking your dick in whatever you can because you had a poor relationship with one of your fucking parental figures. You're the same as any other fucking whore. It's people get that mixed up a lot of the time, where they think it doesn't count if you're like a dude being a whore. You're still a whore. You're still. It is, and it is. I think the main reason people view it as being different is because it is a lot harder for dudes to get laid. It is different, but it's not different enough for you to not be a whore, right? It's different enough for me to be like, it's kind of impressive, right? It's kind of impressive for a dude to like fuck a different chick every night, right? It's not impressive if a chick fucks a different dude every night. That's easy. Anyone with a fucking vagina, you don't really even need a vagina to do that. You could get, if you're a gay dude, you could get fucked by a different dude every night. But if you're a dude and you're fucking a different chick every night, there's something impressive about that. There is. You're putting in that work and you're really studying the game, or you're just being sober and waiting for chicks to get blackout drunk and you're kind of a rapist. What? Sorry, grapist. No, I don't. Whatever. I was gonna go on a rant about 1984. You guys ever read 1984? They changed the words and all that stuff, and now we can say grape, but I can't say rape. Um, but yeah, it is. It's more impressive to be a male whore, but at the end of the day, you're still a whore. You're still you're still a whore. Gay dudes that get fucked, that's another one. They people just view it differently, and it's like, no, those are still disgusting whores. They happen to be gay man whores, but they're still whores, dude. I don't know. I just don't like the delineation between male and female whores. It's all the same. They're all people who don't have the emotional capacity to really deal with anything in their life, so they just go out and get fucked by random people. I, it's all it's all the same, dude. Like dudes that party and shit, they're all the biggest losers, right? It's they may have a ton of money, they may be very successful in what they've done, but they're true losers. They're true losers, in the sense that they don't have the ability to change and, reflect on themselves personally and do the hard things in life. Like that's true of all losers. Losers, as I define them and as I view them, they're people that don't have like the capacity to like suffer and understand like the positive sides of suffering. I don't This is what happens when I try to get fucking like philosophical or whatever. And I wasn't even getting I was defining the word loser. That's that's what happens when I try to define a word instead of being like everyone that goes to Mexico is a pedophile. That's what happens when I try to think. But yeah, whores and stuff like that. Don't like any of them, dude. Don't care if you're a dude whore or a chick whore. I'm equally disgusted, dude. I'm equally disgusted whether you're a dude. And I'm kind of more disgusted if you're a dude whore, right? Because at least a chick whore, you can like fall into that lifestyle, right? Like if you're a female and you just have a vagina, you don't even have to be hot. If you just have a vagina, it is very easy to fall into the lifestyle of being a whore. It's incredibly easy. You can go anywhere at any time and be like, who here wants to have sex with me? And then instantly you will have someone having sex with you, or more specifically, a man. More specifically, just gotta put that out there. Men are hornier than women. Just gotta. Don't know if you guys knew that fact. It's true. But it's just easier to fall into that lifestyle because everywhere you go, there's a decent percent of the population trying to fuck you. But if you're a dude, and unless you're like 6'5" and like jacked and hot, it's a struggle to get fucked. And even if you're 6'5", jacked and hot, I still imagine that it's not the easy. I still imagine that you have to make the first move. Like if you're a chick, you can just pull up to not even a bar. You can pull up to literally anywhere ever, and some dude will be coming up to you like offering to fuck you. But if you're a dude, you gotta like go to clubs and bars and shit like that. So it's more of like a conscientious decision to become a whore as opposed to a woman who can just kind of fall into that lifestyle a little more. And people will be like, "Oh, you're not making women accountable for their actions." Guys, trying to make a woman accountable for her actions, you're not going to do that. All right. So let's just be honest with it. And also, it's true. It's true that it's easier to be a female whore than it is to be a male whore. It's easier to fall into that lifestyle of just getting fucked by a different person every night of the week. It's a fact. It's true. But yeah, it is just easier. It's just easier as a whole. And it's easy to be a gay whore as well. Like being a gay whore and being a female whore, I would say those are both like of equal difficulty. It's not a challenge, right? It's not difficult at all to be gay and get fucked all the time. It's really not that hard. I could do it, dude. I could get fucked in the butt tonight. I could have a big old fucking dick come over here and give me a nice anal orgasm just thrusting inside and out while the lube spreads over my whole body. Second episode in a row where I'm describing a sexual scene with a man. Not the best move. But the reason that that's happened twice in a row is because it's funny. To me, that's funny to describe that because I'm not gay. Whereas if I described like a sexual scene with a woman, I would just have like a hard penis. It would just be me with like a fully erect dick, just talking about my sexual fantasies. So that's why I'm talking about sucking dudes and getting fucked by dudes. Because nothing in it for me. I just think it's funny, right? Whereas if I describe like, sorry, I had to take the Zin out real quick. Sorry if there was any lip smacking in there. I was trying to keep the Zin in for a little bit, but I had to pop that sucker out. But like, if I was just to describe like having sex with a woman, even in like a funny context, right? Like describing like funnily having sex. I don't know if funnily is a word, but doing it in a funny way, right? Like a funny scenario of having sex with my dick would still be hard. Like I don't. and I don't want to have my dick hard while I'm podcasting. That would just make me all the more like ranty and angry. If I just had like if I was just charged up sexually, I would just be just more angry in general. I'd probably start to sound pretty similar to the H man. You know, the big dog, the little mustache with the comb over. That guy, the guy who had some ideas that some people disagree with. Some people, some maybe smart people, rational people, you know, some of those people agree with his ideas, but that guy, I might start to sound a little bit like him if I was to describe an intimate act with a woman, just because I'd be revved up. You know, I can't help it. Can't help it that I'm attracted to women. Sorry if that makes me not woke or whatever. Sorry if me being straight makes me not woke. It's fucking libs all the time, just ruining everything. Not even let me have sex with a woman, even if it's like 16 years old is basically an adult. Like I don't, but the fucking libs ruin that too. Anyways, yeah, I can't. I don't want to think about it. Don't want to think about having sex with it because I do not want to have a hard recording a podcast. I don't know. Call me crazy. Maybe I should do that, dude, because Chad Johnson, or Chad Ochocinco, however you know him, wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. Was he only? I think he played for the Patriots as well. Let's look up Chad Ochocinco and what teams he played for. But he said he was so fast on the football field because he was out there running with a third leg. He claims that he used to take Viagra before the game. And I think there might be a multitude of reasons for that because I think it's Viagra originally started out as like a heart medication to like open up your blood vessels more and shit. And that's like the reason it gets your dick hard is because it like opens up all the blood vessels in there, gives you a nice little bone dog. But yeah, Chad Ochocinco. So maybe there was something there to him taking Viagra before games because it's like if it opens up all your blood vessels and stuff like that. I know fucking Laura Boxley, the chick we talked about last week, the one who like wanted to ban smelling salts for the NFL, thinks opening your blood vessels doesn't give you a physical feeling. I know she claimed that, but I don't think that's true. And I think Viagra, maybe it just works in your dick. And maybe that's why they made it a dick medicine. That's why no one is like taking Viagra to prevent a heart attack or whatever. I imagine it like opens up a couple other blood vessels. I don't really know. But Chad Johnson played for the Cincinnati Bengals, right about that, New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins. I think he was only on the practice squad for that one. The Montreal Alouettes played for them in 2014, then took a 3-year break and played for Fun Fundidoros de Monterrey. Huh. We're an American dude. Every time you look up like a football team or like really, yeah, just a football team. Whenever you look one of those up, and it's not in the NFL, it's always in a league that's like been disbanded. Like none of those, no football league besides like the NFL and I guess the CFL as well. Like the CFL has been around since like 1902 or some insane shit like that. But like literally every other football program, right? Every football organization is like instantly shut down. Like right away. It's like every single arena football league that they've tried to have, they're all shut down, dude. Oh, he went to Oregon State. I didn't know that, dude. Chad Johnson, he was a Beaver and he was fucking getting in the Beaver. That's sick. Chad Johnson rolls hard as fuck. Sick ass dude. I know what else to say, man. Chad Johnson ruled. Um, But I guess it's time to talk about the articles, man. We gotta talk about the fucking articles today, dude. I don't want to do current events. I just want to talk about how cool Mexicans are. And also having sex with men. Those are the two things I want to talk about. So this is our first article of the day. Here's what you need to know about the Trump-Putin summit. The talks in symbolically important Alaska are taking place despite Russian leader Vladimir Putin's ceasefire refusals and without Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky, who's a Jew, by the way. He's a Jew, and that's not important. I know a lot of people are like, Volodymyr Zelensky's a Jew, and it's like, I don't, maybe there is like some grand Jewish conspiracy theory out there. But the reason that I'm not a big fan of Volodymyr Zelensky is because he became the, I think, president of Ukraine. I don't know if it's prime minister or president. I think it's president. The reason that he became the president of Ukraine is because of a CIA coup where he was installed. I think that's that's the main reason why I'm not a gigantic fan of Volodymyr Zelensky. It's the fact that he's an incredibly corrupt leader who was installed by an American intelligence agency. God damn, it sounded like I was having a stroke there for a second. Most of this podcast sounds like me having a stroke, but especially right there. Um, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of Volodymyr Zelensky, and I don't think the Ukrainian people are either. But let's read about this. So, President Donald Trump will meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska on Friday, the first time a president has invited the Russian leader to private talks in the United States since 2007. The meeting is designed as a step toward ending Russia's war against Ukraine, even as the countries remain far apart on what they would accept as a peace deal. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has not been invited, and has ruled out surrendering land to Russia. And this is just if you see a post about this on TikTok and you're similar to me in any way, shape, or form, which hopefully you're not. Hopefully you're a functioning human being who's not similar to me at all. But if you are similar to me and you see like a post about this on TikTok or any social media, do not go to the comment section because you will be enraged, dude. You will be so goddamn mad. And just people being like, that land belongs to Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky needs to keep fighting. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, I get it. Russia attacked Ukraine and killed a whole bunch of people and all that shit. But that shit happens constantly throughout the world. Every day. There's 10 other conflicts almost exactly like this, right? Except the difference between those conflicts and this one is that this one is being funded by the United States of America and is being continued basically. Vladimir Putin's doing his part to continue this. It's not all on Zelensky, but part of the reason that this war is continuing in the massive scale that it is because of a guy who was installed by the CIA, right? And it's just people. It's is it worth it? Is it worth it for millions of young men to die en masse in some of the most brutal ways possible so that two fucking shitty little dirt patches in Eastern Europe can remain part of Ukraine? These people didn't give a fuck about Ukraine. They didn't give a fuck about the coup. They didn't give a fuck about Crimea. They don't care about Ukraine. They don't You'll never hear any of these people bringing up the Holodomor. Holodomor? What the fuck is it called? Anyway, the Holodomor or whatever the fuck it's called. I think it's just Holodomor was the mass starvation of Ukrainian people and just Slavic people as a whole by the USSR. You'll never hear any of them bringing that up. All they care about is Zelensky having his two little fucking provinces in eastern Ukraine. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous that some people who and it's mostly Democrats, right? It's mostly Democrats who believe this. You know, the empathetic group of people, the people who think you're a fucking bad person for not wanting to give people free fentanyl or whatever. It's the fucking CNN liberal. And I'm not saying every Democrat's like a bad or a fucking I don't facetious person, right? That's like not true about their morality, or I'm not saying that. There's a lot of good people out there that are Democrats, but it's just this is the party that's supposedly, anti-war, pro-peace, pro-empathy, pro-human, and human rights and all that shit. And yet they want a war to continue where hundreds of thousands of young men are dying and are being forced to fight. Literally, they're being forced, they're being ripped from their fucking homes so that they can fight on the front lines in a war that's being fought over two fucking little shitty pieces of land that have a little bit of coal underneath them, right? And the people who are like, oh, we need to help, we need to increase taxes by 100% so that fucking, little kids can get their transgender surgeries. Like, they're so empathetic, right? They care about everyone's needs and wants and all that shit. And yet they want this war where, I mean, the death toll is over 1 million. These aren't big countries here. This isn't fucking India versus China. These aren't countries with that both have billions of people. And this is Ukraine has like 60 million. I don't even know how big Ukraine. I don't know how many people they have, but it's not that fucking many. We have states that have more people than Ukraine. I'm almost certain of that fact, right? And Russia has like 100 million. Okay, there's about 40 million people in Ukraine, so less than there are in California. All right, you want a decent percentage of people in that country to die. You want a decent percentage of Russians to die. Over what? See, over what, right? The fact that Anderson Cooper told you that this is necessary for the fucking, global peace or whatever. That's why you want all these people to die? You want all these people to die because fucking Dong Lemon came on and he was like, yeah, everyone needs to die in order to preserve Ukraine. You don't give a fuck about the preservation of Ukraine. You don't give a fuck about the preservation of America. These people are idiots. They're the dumbest fucking people on earth whose cognitive dissonance is beyond insane. It's literally beyond insane. They're schizophrenic, right? Like a schizophrenic will have millions of contradicting ideas all existing in their head at the same time, and so do these, and so do some people on the right. Not some people, a lot, most. Most most people who define themselves as either Democrats or Republicans are morons. They're stupid. Sorry, it's just a fact, right? If you're like I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican, you're not either. You're a fucking idiot. But it's just these people, they claim they're like, oh, we need to house people in America and let every single fucking, illegal immigrant here become a legal citizen. And we need to stop putting people in prison. And all right, we just need to stop. We need to have some empathy for you. You'll fucking hear that out of these people. You'll hear a never-ending fucking stream of nonsense about how much more empathetic they are. But yet they want to continue a war where just hundreds of thousands of young men are dying en masse, dude, in brutal fucking conditions, in brutal ways. They're sitting in a fucking mud trench somewhere, and then they hear the zhuzh of a drone, and then their life is fucking gone. For what? It just pisses me off so much. They don't understand anything about the war or just conflict or the human existence as a fucking whole. It's so goddamn annoying. It's like, yeah, they're gonna have to lose a couple fucking states, but you know what they're not gonna lose? Hundreds and thousands of fucking lives. These people are idiots. They're so dumb. And it's like, I know that they were propagandized, right? I understand that fact that they were propagandized by the government and fucking left-wing media sources or whatever, the fucking, the woke lib, the fucking fake. I get that they were propagandized by all that shit. But at the end of the day, they still make the decision to publicly support this fucking brutal conflict that's only continuing because Zelensky, probably under the behest of the United States government, is refusing to surrender to Ukraine or to Russia. And it's just like, guys, you just have to fucking cut your losses at a certain point. And that's what it is, dude. At the beginning of the war, it's like, fuck yeah, Ukraine, fight for your land. Down for it. I don't think I should be paying for it, but I'm down for you fighting for your land. But after how long has it been? It's been over 3 years now. After 3 years and hundreds of thousands of deaths, I think you just have to cut your losses. And people are like, oh, well, now Putin's going to try to invade Europe. No, he's not. Putin is not going to try to invade Poland or fucking whatever other country you think he's going to try to invade. He's not going to try to do that. He does not give a shit, dude. The fact that he did this is beyond me and it's beyond everyone. It was very fucking stupid of him to do that, knowing that Russia's public image in the United States was already not in a good place. It was very stupid of him to do this. So he's not going to invade Poland. He's not going to invade Finland. There's not going to be another fucking winter war, all right? He's going to get his two little shitty fucking provinces in Ukraine, and then he's going to go on every single fucking government TV channel and be like, yes, we are so good. We went in there and we got this. This belongs to Russia now. All right? It's just what's gonna happen. You have to accept that price because if you don't, more and more people are gonna die. We're not talking a handful here and there. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people, and it's very ironic. It's ironic and it's stupid, and I hate them. Why is everyone so much dumber than me, dude? Why is everyone on the left so fucking stupid? No, I don't think it's just a weird fucking hill to die on, especially when you're like supposed to be the empathetic people. You're supposed to be the party of empathy and like caring about everyone and giving everyone what they need or whatever. And it's like, but you're willing to like force young men to die over two places that you probably can't even name. Is Verdansk even one of those? I've heard Verdansk 1,000 times. I don't even know if it's one of the fucking provinces that they're fighting over. Yeah. It's just crazy. And I get you don't like Russia and you don't like Putin, and I'm sure he's a brutal fucking dictator. But it's like, first of all, Zelensky's been in power for 11 years. If they're calling Trump a fucking fascist dictator, when he won 2 elections, but yet Zelensky's been in power pretty sure for 11 years. Maybe I need to double check that, but Trump's a dictator because he's, I don't know, doing what the president does, but Zelensky, only since 2019. So for 6 years. But still, yeah, he took office 5 years out after the start of the Russo-Ukrainian war with, okay, whatever. So he's been in there for 6 years, but still, uh, this guy's, they'll call Trump a fascist, right? And I don't disagree. I don't think Trump's a good guy, and I do think he's incredibly corrupt and he's ushering in a state of like fucking technology fascism. I agree with that, right? But he's not ripping fucking young men from their homes to make them die in a fucking mud pit somewhere. Trump isn't doing that. I get it. He's doing a lot of things that you don't like. He's doing a lot of things that I don't like. But for you to sit here and call Trump a dictator while Volodymyr Zelensky, at the behest of the CIA, continues a fucking nonsense war and just completely disregard the rights of his people, for you to not call that guy a dictator, but to call Trump a dictator, is an insane level of irony that kind of shows the modern state of politics in this country, just the modern state of thought as a whole in this country, right? They don't have the capacity to realize the level of cognitive dissonance that they have. And I'm a big fan of cognitive dissonance when it comes to like little shit, right? When it comes to shit that's like just inside my head, I'm fine with cognitive dissonance. But it's like it's hard. It's hard for me to be like, no, sometimes you're just cognitively dissonant about things. It's hard for me to have that opinion of you, or for like to apply that opinion of you when we're talking about the deaths of hundreds of thousands of innocent people. And they are innocent, right? The Russians are innocent and the Ukrainians are innocent. The This war shouldn't have been fought in the first place. I agree with that fact. I agree with the fact that Putin shouldn't have been going in there. But I also agree with the fact that Volodymyr Zelensky's dragging out this war probably at the behest of the United States of America, specifically the CIA. And really all these special interest groups that exist here, right? The defense contractors, the fucking uh mineral extractors. I don't know what the frackers. I don't fucking know what the word is, all right? I don't know what the goddamn word is. But it's just two things can be true at the same time. And they don't even conflict with each other. Right? The fact that Zelensky's a piece of shit and the fact that Putin is a piece of shit, those two ideas do not conflict with either. They're not mutually exclusive in any way, shape, or form, right? They're not. But some people make them that. They make them mutually exclusive when they're not. Zelensky can be a giant piece of shit, and so can Putin, dude. Two people can be a piece of shit at the same time. Yeah, I don't know. I hate these people. I hate the people that want to sit here and lecture me about how much more empathetic than they are. And I get that I'm being fucking lectured by people on the internet and that I can just turn off my phone. But just the fact that these people exist, and so many of them, so many of these people fucking exist in this country who want to sit here and fucking lecture, conservative, or just anyone else, anyone that's not as empathetic, quote unquote, as they are, or who's not as righteous as they are. And that's why the left lost this fucking election. And that's why they'll lose a number of other elections as well. Because it's a battle of who's better at moral grandstanding. And they're not just fighting with themselves, they're fighting with other people too. Just talking about how empathetic. Oh, I'm so empathetic. You don't know how empathetic I am. I'm so empathetic because we should pay for AIDS medication. Oh, and you're not empathetic because you disagree with me. You don't know what empathy is. And they're just so fucking condescending. They're incredibly condescending as well. I'm calling you guys dum-dums, but at least I'm calling you dum-dums on a fucking equal playing field because I'm a dum-dum too. All right? We're both dum-dums. And so are most people, including me. We're on even fucking ground here. I'm not a condescending person. And they're just so condescending. And they just talk about how much empathy they have. I have so much empathy for every different group of person on earth. You don't have empathy for hundreds of thousands of young men that have been killed. You don't have empathy for those groups. You don't feel bad for them. You feel bad for the fucking person that can't get the cosmetic surgery that they want or whatever for free. But you have empathy for that person. Sorry, I'm retarded. Like I said, very stupid as well. But you don't have empathy for the young man who was forced to give his life for a cause that he doesn't care about. You don't have empathy for that guy, but you do have empathy for fucking a fentanyl addict. It's absurd. It's crazy. Sorry, I don't like being a person that like rants or complains about shit, but it's and I could have gone about it in a way where I didn't rant or complain about it, but I did. I did do that. All right, why don't you show me a little bit of your empathy? Okay, that was gay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was a little bitch about that shit, but it's just I don't like it. I don't like it. Why can't everyone be like me? Why can't everyone be like me and agree with me about everything? Yeah. That is what I sounded like, and I know that, but it's how I feel, okay? I'm just speaking my truth. Why am I such a gay little that I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, whenever when I encounter an annoying lib, I turn into like a snarky conservative. I turn into like the conservative version of like or I almost said John Lennon, the conservative version of John Oliver, or is it all that fucking British guy who's like, I guess also an American political commentator, which is absurd. I turn into him basically, where I'm like, you're not allowed to do that. The president. That was a nice retarded British accent right there for you guys. Bet you never heard that before. Retarded and British accent at the same time. And now we have our second article. We're going full in on Trump. I didn't even want to read the rest of that fucking the talk about the Ukraine Russia peace deal. Because it's just I don't know. I was being a little bitch about it. I was being a whiny little bitch. And I was being like, fucking, you don't know anything. That's what I was being like. And I don't want to be like that, dude. I want to be like Melania Trump, dude. Because Melania Trump, I fucking love Melania Trump, dude. Favorite first lady ever. Of all of them. I know some of the first ladies like ran the country, right? Like Woodrow Wilson's wife ran the country and FDR's wife ran the country secretly while their husbands were dealing with like strokes and in FDR's case he had polio. I understand they did that, but they're not Melania, dude. Melania is the perfect fucking first lady. It's she's just a down ass bitch, dude. Melania's a down ass, and people are like, she hates Trump, and it's like, yeah, maybe she does, dude, but she's a down ass bitch. She doesn't give a fuck, and it's just so beautiful to me. It's so beautiful to be in like a marriage where you kind of both hate each other, but like if anyone insults the other person, you'll be like, hey, that's my fucking husband, all right? There's just something so beautiful about the fact that Melania can't stand the fucking presence of her husband, but is willing to like die for him. I don't know. I love it and I love Melania, dude. Like that clip of her complaining about having to put up the Christmas decorations is so fucking funny, dude. It's just her being like these and I don't know I have to do this. This is so stupid. And then they insult me for the decorations I choose. I cannot put up with this shit. I love her, dude. She's the fucking best. And she wears like she's not Hillary Clinton or whatever pulling up in a pantsuit. Melania's wearing some sick ass fucking clothes with her nice Eastern European fucking MILF surgery face, just pulling up and being a down ass bitch. Dude, I love Melania. And this article is about our girl Melania. I like her more than I don't like Trump, so I don't know why I'm saying this, but I like her more than Trump. I like her more than I don't I I like Melania more than any president I've had in my lifetime. I love her so much. She's the best, dude. So Melania Trump threatens to sue Hunter Biden for 1 billion over Epstein claim. Dude, Hunter Biden thought he was out of the fucking woods, dude. Hunter Biden, he thought he could write his little book and do his little paintings, and everyone would forget about the fact that he was a pedophile crack addict. And then Melania comes in, dude. Melania comes in like Negan in The Walking Dead, dude. She's got her barbed wire baseball bat. And she's whistling a little tune, just being like, little pig, let me in. And she's about to fucking bash Hunter Biden's skull in like he did, like Negan did to that Asian guy in that one episode of The Walking Dead, dude. That's what Melania's about to do to him. God damn. Melania, it just must be so vicious to be around Melania. She just looks vicious, dude. She has a look to her. She looks like she cuts deep, like everything she says. Like she could give you a compliment. She could be like, or something that like sounds like she sounds like almost like a gay dude, right? Melania kind of has like that gay dude energy to her, where she's like, that outfit looks nice on you. Your outfit looks so good on you. It sounds like Melania could say that, and I would never wear that fucking outfit again, dude. I don't care about fashion at all. I don't care about how I fucking look. But if Melania went, I like your outfit. I would never wear that goddamn outfit again because Melania, she just fucking cuts deep, dude. Even if you look at her, you can just look at Melania and tell that everything she says fucking cuts right through your flesh and just straight through your bone and right into your fucking heart, dude. God damn, I love Melania. Just look at her. Like Melania as a mom, dude, I bet Baron shut the fuck up and listened to her, dude. I bet Melania was like, clean up your toys. And Baron just immediately fucking did that shit, dude. Blocks right in the box, dude. Put that shit in the corner where it goes, dude. There was never a fucking sock on the ground in Melania's house, all right? Because she didn't play that shit. Melania don't play no shit. That's why I fucking love her. So, First Lady Melania Trump has threatened to sue Hunter Biden for more than $1 billion after he said she was introduced to her husband by sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so it's good to know that the news has gone from calling Jeffrey Epstein a disgraced financier to now a sex offender. They're getting closer. Hey, hey, you gotta take the points where you can get them. All right, they're getting closer to calling him a human trafficker who was part of an operation to blackmail people for the Mossad and the CIA. They're getting closer to saying that. They're not there quite yet, but they're getting closer. So it's just very funny to call like that person a sex because like you can be a sex offender if you piss in, and I don't know how true that is because I think I pissed at a playground one time. I think I was at like at a park maybe playing basketball with my friends, and I like went to take a piss in like the trees. So I don't what I was gonna say is like you hear those stories about like, yeah, my guy just took a piss in public and then he became a registered sex offender, and it's like, I don't think that's true, dude, because I pissed in public. I've pissed plenty of times in public, dude. I was in the Boy Scouts. I have no problem pissing in public. And so I do not think that that's why your boy became a sex offender. But I think it is, if that's true, if you can become a sex offender by just pissing in public, it is very funny to be like, you're a sex offender, and also Jeffrey Epstein, a guy who ran an international human trafficking ring for intelligence agencies. He's also a sex offender. You guys are on the same playing field. And it's like, no, I'm not, dude. Even if you're just grabbing ass, if you're grabbing adult ass, you shouldn't be doing that, right? Whether it's male or female, you shouldn't be rolling up grabbing adult ass. But you're not on the same level as Jeffrey Epstein did. I understand. And I know some people will be like, no, it is. No, you are the same. Oh, you're 19 and you fucked a 17-year-old? You're basically Jeffrey. I know there's that weird fucking thing going on. And it's impossible to argue against it, right? Because it's impossible to like argue against these dudes who think that like everyone is a pedophile or whatever, right? You guys know what I'm talking about here, where it's like he was 30 and he had sex with a 23-year-old. That's a pedophile. That's really the only like bipartisan issue or like issue that the right and left like somehow managed to come together on is that like a 30-year-old having sex with a 23-year-old makes that guy or girl, whoever it is, makes that person a pedo. It's like no, a, thir- a 30-year-old hadn't sex with a 23. It's like I can understand if it's like a fucking 50-year-old or even a 30-year-old banging like a girl who just turned 8. I can understand that. I can understand the fact that that's a very questionable action, even if it's not illegal. It's very questionable, and that's probably not a person you want to spend a whole bunch of time around. I can understand that. But being like, and people will legitimately say that. You know, it'll be like a 27-year-old had sex with a fucking 26-year-old, and everyone's like, you got a file. Chop his head off and throw him in the fucking river. Right? And it's insane. But it is just weird that everyone gets that like moniker of sex offender. We should have like levels to it. It's like that guy's a first degree sex offender. Like that guy, and not sex offender isn't even the word to describe Jeffrey Epstein. The word, you need more than one word to describe Jeffrey Epstein. Like that's how evil what he did was. Is you need more than one word to describe it. You need pedophile human trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Pedophile human sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Pedophile human child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. I would say that's a more apt description of him than sex offender, right? Because I'm not saying I like sex, but a lot of people can be. There's levels to this game, is what I'm saying here, dude. And Jeffrey Epstein, he's at the top of the level, dude. He fucking beat Zelda, all right? He beat the Ocarina of Time, dude. He slayed the dragon or whatever you do in Zelda. Because that guy's not just a run of the mill sex offender. That guy's not a That guy's not a guy playing grab ass in the office. You know what I mean? This is a vile, evil person that we're talking about here. And playing grab ass in the office, I don't think you're a good person, but I don't think you're Jeffrey Epstein, the most one of the most evil guys, just in general. It's just funny that they called him a sex offender. So back to the article. Lawyers acting on behalf of the First Lady who married President Donald Trump in 2005 described his claim as false, disparaging, defamatory, and inflammatory. Biden, son of former U.S. President Joe Biden, Biden. This is very funny that they had to clear that up. They had to clear up the fact that Hunter Biden was the son of Joe Biden. Yeah, I'll take a guess and say that's true, even if I didn't know about all the crack and pedophilia that he did over the past few years. So Biden, son of former President or U.S. President Joe Biden, made the comments during an interview this month. He defended them on Thursday and did not seem willing to back down in the face of the lawsuit threat. Donald Trump was a friend of Epstein, but has said they fell out in the early 2000s because the financier poached employees from the spa in Trump's Florida golf club. It's funny that Trump, he could be like, no, I just had like a bad feeling about him. I don't know. Just something about the guy, he seemed off-putting to me. But it was like, no, he took my masseuse. It's very funny. It's very funny that that's the angle that Trump took to use on that one. He wasn't like, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein, he just, I could tell there was something deeply evil about that guy. There was something very, very strange and off-putting, and even worse than that, just every time I looked at him, my back ran cold. I could tell he was an evil person. He doesn't go with like that option. He chooses to be like, yeah, the guy who puts hot stones on your back, Epstein stole him from me. Like that's the choice Trump made in there. Just very, very funny that he chose to do that. Um, chose to like take that route. I would have been like fully like a chick who like a nosy chick in a neighborhood who finds out a guy got arrested and goes, I always knew that kid was a bad kid. That's what I would have been like. I would have been like Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, I could just tell by looking in his eyes that he was a monster. Like that's what I would have said. But Trump was like, now I can't get my toenails clipped anymore because he took my masseuse. So a letter from the First Lady's lawyers and addressed to an attorney for Hunter Biden demands he retract the claim and apologize or face legal action for over $1 billion in damages. And people are going to say that this is fucking insane or whatever, and it is. But the lawsuit against Alex Jones about the whole Sandy Hook thing, you opened up the door to shit like this, right? You allowed that to like you set a precedent with that, with like suing people over false claims. You set a precedent because if it happens one time, it's going to happen a billion times now, right? And if you don't know, Alex Jones made some questionable, I'm not going to say false, but questionable claims about the validity of the Sandy Hook incident. He questioned um, whether some of the parents were crisis actors or not, whether the shooting even happened in the first place. He made a few poor decisions when it came to that. And he got sued for $1 billion. You heard that right. That's correct. I think it's 960 million. But it is true. He was ordered to pay like $960 million to like the families or like yeah, the families of the victims of Sandy Hook because he said some shit on a fucking show that like four people listened. It's just very funny that they chose to do that. They were like Alex Jones, the guy with the podcast, right? The guy who reads Blue Chew ads for a living. Yeah, he has $1 billion, right? It's very funny. And now Melania is kind of turning the table on this shit. And I can guarantee you if someone brings this up at a press conference, Trump is going to bring up the whole Alex Jones thing. I can almost guarantee you. So, it says the First Lady has suffered overwhelming financial and reputational harm because of the claim he repeated. It also accuses the youngest Biden son of having a vast history of trading on the names of others and repeating the claim to draw attention to yourself. Well, this is just true. This is just true, right? The only reason Hunter Biden is the way he is because he's the president or the son of the president of the United States, or a former president, and a former vice president, and a guy who was a very powerful senator in the United States, right? So, yeah, this isn't an accusation that Hunter Biden trades on the names of others. It's true. It's objectively true. It's why he's famous in the first place. If Hunter Biden wasn't the president of Joe Biden, he would be in jail or homeless right now. So I would say that's an Melania got that one right, dude. Once again, Melania cutting to the core right here. Do you think she wrote that letter herself, or do you think she did the thing that Trump does? Oh, that's a plane, dude. I just heard like a whistling and I was like, God damn it, the China are here, dude. Israel's here. Israel's here to kill everyone in this country and then blame it on Palestine. No, but yeah, I was just wondering if Melania Trump like did the thing that Trump does with his tweets where he like tells someone else what to write. I'm just wondering, dude. But so during a wide-ranging interview with filmmaker Andrew Callahan published earlier this month, Hunter Biden claimed unreleased documents relating Epstein would implicate President Trump. Well, yeah, that's just true. That's once again the the claims and the accused and all that. This is just true. It's true that Epstein was related to Trump or like implicated in that shit. Dude. You're not hanging around with a guy like that and just completely not being a part of all his activities, right? It's like if I was friends with Kim Jong Un or whatever, and I was like, he's a dictator. What? You're Kim Jong Un? Kim Jong Un. That guy's not a dictator. He just comes to my golf club sometimes, dude. He did take a couple of my masseuses, and that's why I stopped being friends with him. But he's not a dictator, dude. He would never starve millions of people to death, dude. He doesn't have war. Kim Jong Un. Guys, stop. Kim Jong Un wouldn't do that. Like, I feel like you just, if you're hanging out with a guy like that, you know about what he's doing, right? Even if you're not participating in it, you know what's going on there. It's just very funny to be like, yeah, he's just hanging out with him for the fun of it. There's no way Jeffrey Epstein was a good hang, dude. I could not imagine kicking back with Jeffrey Epstein and lighting up a fucking joint or something like that, right? I couldn't imagine chilling with Jeffrey Epstein in like a hot tub somewhere, just like talking while watching the UFC. I can't imagine doing that. I don't think Jeffrey Epstein was a fun hang. God damn. But okay, let's read this a little bit more. So he said Epstein introduced Melania to Trump. I think they're talking about what Biden said, or Hunter Biden said. Epstein introduced Melania to Trump. The connections are so wide and deep. The First Lady's legal letter notes the claim was partially attributed to Michael Wolff, a journalist who authored a critical biography of the president. In a recent interview with U.S. outlet The Daily Beast, Wolff reportedly claimed that the First Lady was known to an associate of Epstein and Trump when she met her now husband. Okay, if this is true, right? Let's pretend Hunter Biden is 100% right here, and this other dude, what was his name, Wolf. Let's pretend both of those guys are 100% right about what they're saying. This would be the least evil thing Jeffrey Epstein has ever done. It would be one of the least evil things Trump has ever done before. He, I just don't get what like the big deal is here. There's far bigger deals regarding Jeffrey Epstein. And instead of focusing on that, instead of focusing on his connections to Israel and the royal family and all these, the thousands of other politically powerful people in the world, instead of focusing on those fucking connections, they're like, yeah, he introduced a grown man to a grown woman, and those two grown people ended up getting married to each other. Seriously, even if Melania was a sex slave, it would still be the least evil thing Jeffrey Epstein had ever done, because she was a grown woman. It's just crazy to me. It's just crazy that they're like, yeah, Trump met his adult wife with Epstein. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand why they're taking that angle instead of being like, no, Trump's a pedophile because he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. That's what I would be saying. I would put allegedly at the front. I would say everything I'm about to write here is allegedly true, and then I would be like, yeah, you weren't just randomly friends with the most powerful human, or one of the most powerful known human traffickers in the world, child sex traffickers specifically. You're not just friends with that guy. You don't run into that guy at fucking Price Chopper or whatever your local grocery store is. You don't run into Jeffrey Epstein while you're buying fruity dino bites in the fucking cereal aisle, all right? It's not how you meet him. So, if I was writing an article like this, the angle I would take would be Trump is a pedophile because he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And now the reason they're not taking this angle is because many uh politicians, that was retarded, many politicians that they like and agree with and that they support uh so that they can make money, a lot of those people were also connected to Jeffrey Epstein. And so now they're taking the weird angle of the fact that Melania was introduced to Donald Trump by Epstein. It's like Epstein introduced thousands of people probably over the course of his life to children that they would then rape, right? So Jeffrey Epstein introducing a grown woman to a grown man really isn't that big of a fucking deal to me. It's not a big deal regardless of who did it, but it's especially not a big deal when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein. Because once again, Jeffrey Epstein was a guy who facilitated the mass rape of children. So call me insane here, but I'm not too worried about who he introduced to who. As long as they were both adults. I don't doesn't bother me a whole ton. Sorry, just doesn't. Sorry, libs. Oh yeah, you don't like that, libs? Well, it's the truth. Truth bomb, libs. Truth nuke. Me and me and Charlie Cook, we're about to drop a truth nuke on you. Truth nuke here though. This is from Realtor.com, News and Insights, Celebrity Real Estate exclusive. Kanye West gutted Malibu beach house is put back on the market with $4 million price cut as developers offer falls through. When I first just glanced at this headline, for some reason I thought it was just the beach house cost $4 million. And yeah, I like Kanye. Um, as a political commentator and stuff, I don't really like his music that much, but I like him, right? But having a beach house like this to me is just, I don't know. I like a nice tacky beach house, you know what I mean? Like it's painted sea blue or whatever, and it's got the white window frames and the fucking surfboards out front and all that shit. I do think that this place looks cool, and I understand, what the architect was going for here, but I think it's just, I don't know. I don't like it as a beach house. I think a beach house should be fun, You should have a tiki bar in there. It should be the tackiest looking thing possible. It should just, ropes and fucking, not ropes, nets and stuff or like that, right? Like a nautical theme and a worn wood sign that says home is where the heart is or whatever in cursive. I don't know. I think of that when I think of a beach home. This is cool. It's a cool looking thing, but not my personal favorite. So the Malibu beach house that rapper Kanye West famously gutted then abandoned has reappeared on the market with $4.1 million price cut just months after its seller announced that he had secured a buyer. West 48 originally purchased the Tadao Ando designed property. So I guess Tadao Ando is a Tadeo Ando? God, fix that name, dude. That's not a fun name to say. Tadeo and Ando designed property for a staggering 57.3 million in 2021, months after he split from his former wife Kim Kardashian. He then proceeded to gut the architectural gem, with reports at the time suggesting that he wanted to turn the concrete structure into a modernist bomb shelter. God, Kanye. Classic Kanye, dude. Buying a beach house for $60 million and then turning it into a fucking bomb shelter. Very Kanye of him. So the rapper's overhaul of the dwelling saw it reduced to little more than a concrete shell, decimating almost all of Ando's original design and leaving design lovers up in arms over its destruction. He then sparked further fury when he abandoned his plans for the waterfront abode altogether and put it back on the market in January 2024 with an asking price of $53 million, enlisting celebrity real estate agent Jason Oppenheim, Jew, to help him offload the bare bones of the home. When it was put on the market, the home had no electric, no plumbing, no windows, no interior finishes, all of which had been stripped out during West's renovations. This might have just been a classic Kanye troll, dude. Kanye just, he manages to troll almost everyone. I'm waiting for his like troll of conservatives and stuff like that. But he trolled like the left-wing people. He trolled the Jews, and then he trolled the music people and stuff like that. And now he trolled his own fans thousands of times. And now he's trolling the fucking architectural people, taking this supposedly beautiful home and then just turning it into a concrete pit, dude. This is just another classic Kanye troll. No electric, no plumbing, no windows. Yeah, that is a shell. This is an accurate description of it. No, no windows? I wonder what they mean by that. I really wonder what they mean by no windows. I wonder if they mean that he like took all like the glass panes out and like the window frames out, or if they mean he like covered them up with concrete. Because either way, it's insane. If he covered them up with concrete, then he basically made a giant oven. Heil Hitler. Uh, Bong, bong, bong. He- so he either covered them up with concrete and made like a giant oven, or he broke all the windows and it's just like flooded and like moldy on the inside. Oh, that's so fucking funny. So it came as no surprise that West was unable to secure anything close to his original price, ultimately accepting an offer of just 21 million from developer Stephen Bow Belmont, CEO of real estate crowdfunding firm Bellwood Investments, who purchased the property in September 2024 and vowed to restore it to its original glory. I mean, I don't like the minimalist thing, uh, but I mean, yeah, it's pretty sick looking. It's got some nice views in there. The furniture looks nice, I'll say that. A lot of like that minimalist, brutalist furniture looks like it would fucking grind my ass into nothing. It just looks like hard as shit. Uh, but it looks pretty fucking comfortable. And the house looks pretty cool. I do like brutalist design a little bit, but like putting it next to the beach, bro, you're surrounded by fucking palm trees and, the beautiful ocean and the nice yellow sands and all that stuff. You're sipping on a fucking Mai Tai in a concrete box. I get it. The concrete box, there's something cool looking about it. I know, but it doesn't look cool on the beach, dude. You can't waste away there. That's not a Margaritaville, dude. If you're on the beach, in my personal opinion, you should either be surfing, fishing, or in Margaritaville. Those are the three options if you're on a beach. You can't be referencing like Soviet brutalist design when you're on a beach. Man, you can't be doing that shit. Either be hitting the waves, reeling in sharks, or get blackout drunk on a nice fucking frozen margaroni while you're on the beach, dude. Sitting in a concrete box on the beach does not appeal to me. I like brutalist design, but I don't think it goes well with the beach, dude. This beach is just fun. And that just kind of shows how like sad a lot of these rich people's lives are. Is this like how sad do you have to be like this beach needs a concrete box on it? My life has been so sad. I was born as a billionaire, and now I need to make a concrete box on a beach somewhere. I cannot have fun at the beach. I was like, dude, I pull up to the beach. I don't even drink, but I'm going to fucking Margaritaville, dude, and I'm splashing around in the ocean, and I'm pissing in the ocean everywhere, dude. And then I'm gonna go back down, lay on the sand, piss on the sand too. And then when I'm showering off, you know what I mean, to get all the sand and salt water off of me, I'm gonna be pissing there too. I'm gonna be pissing everywhere, dude. You're at the fucking beach. I don't want to be sitting in a concrete box. I want to be pissing in as many different areas as humanly possible. Just my personal opinion. Just my personal opinion. Um, yeah, we got two more articles left. I think I'll just read this last one though. So, Tropical Storm Erin likely to become Atlantic season's first hurricane by Friday. Holy shit, dude. Batten down the hatches. Batten down the hatches, you fucking Floridians. That's what you get for living there. Florida's just unbearable. I don't know why people live there. They're like, the weather's nice all year round. No, it isn't, dude. It's always 1,000% humidity. And I guess it doesn't get insanely hot down there. It does get very fucking hot. It gets like 95 degrees, but like, and this is true of like Hawaii too. Hawaii doesn't get, there's like rarely a day over 100 degrees in Hawaii. Same with like the maybe northern Florida gets really hot, but like around the Gulf and the Atlantic Ocean and shit like that, like Miami doesn't Miami doesn't see a lot of 100-degree days. Like I'm from Kansas City, dude. It gets hotter in Kansas City than it does in Miami. But it's just always hot in Miami. It's hot in Miami, time to party. But these fucking Floridians are about to get hit. And I do agree. I don't know who came up with that fucking tweet or whatever about the names of hurricanes, but like I agree fully. Especially with the name Aaron. Aaron, it's E-I or E-R-I-N. They ain't even hitting a fucking AA wrong. This is a chick name. Like Katrina, I don't know, maybe just like the context of Katrina and like the social view of it makes it an intimidating name, but like Aaron sounds like your like neighbor's 15-year-old daughter who's kind of fat and has braces who comes over to fucking babysit you. Like that's what Aaron sounds like. Katrina sounds like a crazy bitch, dude. Katrina Katrina sounds like a bitch that'll fucking like rip your balls off and then suck your dick 5 minutes later to apologize to you. You know what I mean? Katrina sounds like the type of chick to like break a beer bottle on her head and then stab you on the neck while she says I love you. Like that's what fucking Katrina sounds like to me. Aaron Aaron sounds like the chick that is like too much of a coward to be a whore. Like that's what Aaron sounds like. Aaron sounds like the name of a chick who like got rejected from a sorority. Aaron's not an intimidating name at all. Katrina, yeah, a little bit. And then Matthew, wasn't Matthew like supposed to be one of the most deadly hurricanes in history or something like that? But his name Matthew. Matthew's the skinny fat kid in your fucking calculus class that you fucking take his homework so that you can copy it. That's who Matthew is. Matthew is the weird smart kid who's not like the rest of the smart kids that he's smart and he's like kind of social still. Matthew's like the smart kid who like doesn't shower and spends too much time to himself and has like those glasses that turn into sunglasses when you go into the fucking sun. You know what I'm talking about? That's Matthew, dude. Give me fucking if the hurricane was named, I'm gonna rape you in your butt, dude. I would be gone. Hey, Hurricane Diddy, dude, name name a hurricane after Diddy, I'm out of there, man. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that straight up. But Aaron, Aaron's gonna come and get. No, Aaron's not gonna come and get me, dude. Matthew's not gonna come and get me. All right. Okay. I'm not scared of Aaron and I'm not scared of Matthew. Aaron and Matthew sound like they should be fucking married to each other. Aaron and Matthew sound like they're both homosexuals, right? Aaron's a lesbian and Matthew's gay, but they're married to each other and they're both like non-denominational Christians who live in like the most boring house you've ever seen before. Like that's Aaron and Matthew. God damn. Give me Hurricane King Von and I'll be out of there, dude. Give me Hurricane Hitler. That's the fact that there hasn't been a Hurricane Hitler yet, that's what I would have called Katrina. It's like this hurricane is incredibly powerful and it's going straight for New Orleans. This is about to fucking kill 1,000 people. I'm calling that bitch Hurricane Hitler. Those motherfuckers in New Orleans, they don't care. They're too busy getting drunk and playing jazz and fucking stabbing each other and shit. Get them out of there, dude. Say Hurricane Hitler's coming for your ass and I guarantee you they leave. If I found out Hurricane Hitler was coming for me, I'd be like, yo, dude, let's get the fuck at it. Hurricane Pol Pot, Hurricane Mao Zedong, I'd be gone, dude. Or Hurricane Satan. Start naming it that shit, dude. Do not name it Hurricane Aaron. Name it Hurricane Satan, dude. Hurricane Hiroshima's coming for your ass. Hurricane Chernobyl's trying to get you. I'd be gone, dude. But Hurricane Aaron, I'm like, yeah. Aaron's like a girl who's like fat, but she's not fat enough to have like big tits and a fat ass. Like that's what Aaron is. Yeah, I'm not scared of Hurricane Aaron. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about Aaron here. Right now, Aaron's just a little tropical storm. So forecasters say Tropical Storm Aaron, which formed in the eastern Atlantic Ocean on Monday, is expected to become the Atlantic's first hurricane of the season by Friday. The storm formed just west of the Cabo Verde Islands off the coast of West Africa and was moving west. God damn. The U.S. National Guard Center in Miami said. U.S. National Hurricane Center. I don't know why I said National Guard there. The U.S. National Hurricane Center in Miami said. Early models showed that the storm was expected to strengthen into a major hurricane by the time it nears the Caribbean islands towards the end of the week. It doesn't pose an immediate threat to the U.S., but the U.S. or wait, but there's uncertainty about its long-term path. God damn, I've been talking for almost 2 hours now, but I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting until I get to 2 hours. Um, but yeah, and this is Florida's the only place in the world that gets hit by hurricanes. Like that's they said this thing formed off like the west coast of Africa. It's kind of yeah, if I remember correctly, Cabo Verde is just off like that big bump on top of Africa. You know what I'm talking about? That big old like the big bump, the main bump. I'm not talking about the little bump here. I'm talking about that big old booty off of Africa. You guys know what I'm talking about? I think Cabo Verde is just off there. Yeah, it is just they never hit Africa. And to be fair, Africa's in a pretty bad situation. Just the entire continent isn't in a great situation. So I'm not mad that the hurricane isn't hitting Africa. I don't think a hurricane would help Africa at all. But but it's just crazy that they never hit Africa. They never hit anywhere else. Like occasionally you'll hear one about one in like Southeast Asia somewhere or something like that. But there they call it a typhoon. A typhoon is going to hit us. Um, and I think that's just hurricanes like a hard thing for them to say. And that's the funniest thing about like Asian people not being able to pronounce English words is like all Asian words are impossible to pronounce. They're all the most it's like and it's like, what did you just say? And he said, I said, what's up, dude? But it's like what'd you just say to me, dude? I asked how your day was. It's like 90 syllables to say hello to each other or whatever. But they can't say like squirrel. It's just it's very funny to me. And there's like English isn't like that at all. Like English is a very dumb sounding language, and that's probably why it's like they say it's incredibly hard to learn. I don't know if that's true, but it is a very dumb sounding language. And that's partially because I'm dumb. And so of course when I speak English it sounds dumb. If I spoke Japanese it would sound dumb. But it's just a very dumb sounding language. And just like the fact that I guess these Asians are so goddamn smart that like the dumb sounds that like English speakers make when we talk are is like it's not possible for them to make those noises. They can be like dang dong 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 dang oh, but they can't be like hello. They can do all that, and I'm not even doing it right, dude. Like my mouth, I couldn't speak fucking Vietnamese or whatever. I couldn't speak Cantonese. I couldn't speak Japanese. My mouth couldn't make those words, but it's like, but that's just because I speak English, and a lot of the sounds in English, at least to me personally, seem like kind of simple, kind of dumb, dude. So it's like you speak like this incredibly complicated sounding language. I don't know if it is complicated, but it sounds fucking complicated as shit to me, right? So therefore it is complicated, dude. Whatever I say is the truth is the truth. Um but like I don't know. It's like even Spanish. I hear someone speak Spanish and like yeah, they speak it super quickly and stuff like that, but like I can comprehend the noises that they're making. But if I hear someone speak like Japanese or whatever, I can't tell where like the words begin and end, right? Like God damn, I'm stuttering. I'm stuttering my ass off, dude. That's why I couldn't speak Japanese. Like every time you hear someone speak Japanese, I've never heard someone stutter in Japanese before. It's always perfect, dude. They always speak it fucking perfectly, and it's insanely complicated. But it's like, yeah, but they can't say like Los Angeles. Oh, Los Angeles. It's like, dude, I know you could make those. I feel like they're fucking with us at a certain point. It's like I've heard your language be spoken before. I know you can make those noises with your mouth. What are you doing pretending you can't say Louisiana? This is very, very funny to me. That's where I'm at in the podcast right now. I'm trying to push to 2 hours, and it's just everything I say is like, and I just think it's funny for some reason. I can't explain why right now because my brain is running on fumes. I just put diesel into a gasoline car, and my brain is barely working. But China's funny. I think the way Asian people talk is very funny. All right, let's read a little bit more about this. So, maps show Tropical Storm Aaron's projected path. As of late Thursday morning, the center of Aaron was about 890 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands in the West Indies with maximum sustained winds of about 60 miles an hour and was moving westward at about 17 miles an hour, according to the Hurricane Center. Dude, it's going to take it like a year to get here, dude. I don't think we have to worry about anything. It's 890 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands. I do not know where those are. Let me look that up real quick. I imagine it's somewhere in like the fucking Bahamas or something like that, right? If we're worrying about this. Okay, no. So the Northern Leeward Islands, never heard them be called this before. These are like the Lesser Antilles. It's like St. Kitts and Nevis and Antigua, Antigua and Barbuda, and all that fucking shit. Okay, I get it now. I get why they didn't say the Lesser Antilles. So if you don't know, the Lesser Antilles is like that little chain of islands that kind of goes up to, is it Jamaica or Puerto Rico? Let me look at the map real quick. It goes up to Yeah, it goes up to about like Puerto Rico. It's like that little chain of islands. And I guess it's split between the northern Leeward and the southern Leeward Islands. So it's about to hit there real quick. Damn. But it's 890 miles away from here and it's moving 17 miles an hour. Let's do the math on this real quick. Let me pull up Chat GPT so that I can divide 890 by 17. No, I'll look that up real quick just to see how fucking quickly this bitch is gonna get here, dude. God damn. Uh, 52. So, yeah, I think we're good, dude. I don't live in the Northern Leeward Islands, but they're probably used to that shit, dude. So, I think they're good. It's gonna take that thing 52 days to get here if it's moving the way it's moving. So I think our boys over in St. Kitts and Nevis are good. Not too worried about those guys down there. But we did it, dude. First 2 hour pod. We did it. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. We did it. We did it. Yeah, we did it. If you listened up to this point, I mean, Jesus, what are you doing with your life? No, if you listen up to this point, thank you very much. Thank you to the new follower and person who rated the podcast. Very nice of you. And also thank you to Vincent Klein, number one supporter of all time. Dude, guy's the GOAT. He's the legend. If this podcast ever goes anywhere, I will, yeah, I don't know. I'll just be like Vincent Klein rules, but he does. He does rule because apparently all of my videos that were going out on YouTube were getting like automatically privated, which I thought I fixed that, but turns out I didn't. And Vincent Klein, being the good man that he is, let me know about that. So thank you very much, Vincent Klein, if you're still listening to this. You're a very nice person. Um, but if you can't tell, I'm mentally brain dead, and it's kind of why I'm talking the way I am. But hey, 2 hours. We did it. We did it. We did it. But I hope you have a good day, a good week, a good year, a good life. Hope you don't get hit by a car or a hurricane or anything like that. I hope you don't get sued by Melania Trump for $1 billion, but that's all I've got for this episode, guys. Peace.